Okay, everybody, thank you for being here. This is the War on Christmas Thanksgiving Spectacular. All-day live stream, holiday special. Thank you again for being here. And coming up this very special segment, I have a friend who's been on Uncle the Podcast many times. This is kind of a different sort of show we're doing tonight, though. My guest now of bumwinebob.com is Bumwine Bob. And I just turned your audio on. I was missing the start of it, but it's okay, Bob. Everybody hears you. Everybody knows you're here. It's fine.
Okay, we're here. All right, we're here. Okay.
We're good. It's okay.
We're live now. All right. So that was like the top secret.
Yeah.
Stuff. That's like behind the paywall here.
Mm-hmm. That's what happens when Chuck isn't here as my producer. And you know what would be happening if Uncle is here? He'd be yelling at me for not turning the knobs.
I know. I'm watching. I'm watching along here. I got the stream up here too, and I saw. Hey, we cannot hear him. Now we can, thanks. No Bob audio. Now good. Okay, so we're good here.
Yeah. That was my fault, everybody. It was, again, Sidekick, which is not Sidekick tonight, I guess. I don't even know what my role is.
You're on the main stage now, man. This is big time. I know, yeah. If Uncle was there with you right now, he'd be flipping out. You know, he'd be throwing stuff at you.
Yep. You know how it goes on the Uncle Show. And I was mentioning before this that you always come on Uncle the Podcast for a Christmas show. Mm-hmm. And we will be doing that again this year. I mean, we're planning on doing that still, right, Bob?
We will coordinate. I was just brought up on my podcast this past week. My buddy Roadhouse, who's like the pretty much the co-host of the show these days. Mm-hmm. He's like, oh, you know, it's the holiday season. I know you're going to be guesting on other shows and have people on this show. And I said, I'm going to be joining Aaron for his Thanksgiving Spectacular. And then we're still going to work on getting our annual holiday episode together. So we will chat and we will try to coordinate a beverage to enjoy.
Indeed. But now, I mean, the current holiday Thanksgiving, the Thanksgiving Spectacular, we have a drink for tonight that we have to get out of the way first. So this is important. I guess we may as well just get down to it here.
Yeah, why waste any more time? We're getting thirsty over here. I had quite a few hams earlier today. It is Hammsgiving. As we celebrated, one year we celebrated Hammsgiving when we did an early holiday podcast together. We got the hams and we drank that, the three of us. So you can't go wrong.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I forgot about the Hammsgiving. Is that every year that you do that, Bob?
I think ever since we did that a few years ago, and we did an early holiday episode around Thanksgiving time, and we brought up the hams and we all drank that. Every year since then, I'm like, it's Hammsgiving season. It works out perfectly. What time? Ham or turkey? You pick your poison, and go for it. So celebrated Hammsgiving earlier today, but now we're going to get a little dessert beverage here to cap off the Thanksgiving evening.
Indeed. Yeah, dessert beverage. I love that description of this. Yeah, what we're drinking tonight is, well, for me, before I even introduce what this is like the perfect drink to be drinking now, because I've been playing these old videos from my time in Ohio, and this was a drink that we had a lot back then. I had it a lot. My friends had it a lot. It was featured in those videos. I'm sure there were 40 ounces being drank. I know that it appears in the video that I was playing earlier today. So it's like, yeah, okay, we're doing this old Ohio video. Let's drink the official drink of back then, which would be this. It's King Cobra. None other than. And I happen to have the can myself, the big one it calls itself tonight.
The big one, yeah, the big 25-ounce can of premium malt liquor. Yes. Not any of that other malt liquor you might find out there on the shelves, but this here is the premium malt liquor with the smooth taste.
Yes. You've got it. You've got the entire can memorized, Bob, as we knew you would. So this is your area of expertise. What do you have to say about this crazy drink? What's your take on King Cobra?
It's one of the classic malt liquors. Definitely the great design of the can or the bottle, the logo of it always will bring you in there with that Cobra, spitting on the on the bottle or the can, wherever you have there, because you have the 25-ounce can over there, the big one, but I have the real big one over here. I have the 40-ounce bottle that I will be cracking open because for some reason around here, there's no 25-ounce cans of King Cobra. And even the 40-ounce bottles are hard to come by. And I picked this one up maybe about a month or so ago and was waiting for the perfect time to crack it open. And when you brought this up and said you had found it, I said, okay, I'm sold. This is the perfect time to dive into it and crack it open.
Nice. Yeah, I've got Green Seed in the chat is saying that he used to drink Old English. That's another one that
another classic. No, yeah, another classic malt liquor. There, you can't go wrong with the oldie.
No. I would say out of all of those drinks, I've had all of them: the St. Ides, the Mickeys, Old English, Colt 45. At some point, I was drinking any one of these, but I would say the one that more often than not that me and my associates had would be the King Cobra. I think pure volume wise, I probably had this the most. So
okay,
this is gonna be truly nostalgic, Bob.
So yeah, hey, throwing it back here today. Holiday, it's a special occasion, so I'm ready to dive in here and crack this bad boy open.
Let's do it. I'm ready on my side. Let's crack it.
Let's go. All right.
All right. Dueling cans.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna smell here to begin with. You got to smell
in there.
it.
Get that nice whiff of that premium malt liquor right in your face there.
All right. Well,
all right.
Cheers, Bob.
Yes, cheers. Happy Thanksgiving to you and to everybody out there who's joining in the festivities.
Likewise. Yeah. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Here we go. Okay. All right. Yes. I mean, I have to say, I have to say, just after that first drink, it's just easy to drink this thing.
Yeah, it is. It doesn't lie when it says it's got a smooth taste.
Yeah. Yeah, it really does. You're expecting to recoil, like even on the first sip, like, oof, I know what I'm doing, and now I taste it, but no.
Yeah, some of these can be, especially the higher ABV ones. Now, this is at 6%, so it's not too bad. It's a little bit higher than your average beer, but it's not like some of the higher ones that are at the 8, 10%.
Yeah,
where you can get that distinct taste to it that can get you, like you said, that recoil when you take that first sip and you're like, oh, okay, there it goes. And once you get that first sip down, you're like, all right, let's go. Let's just finish this off. Keep this train rolling.
You have to ask yourself, am I indoors now or am I sitting on a sidewalk? Because the taste makes me feel like I'm out there. I'm out there in the elements. But yeah, this is genuinely good. I had fun when I drank one of these. I really can. It's been a minute. But now I am remembering why we would drink it so much. Now, do you know, has it always been the same percentage, 6% alcohol volume, Bob? Has that always been the case for this?
I don't know 100% for sure, but I'm pretty sure it has been from what I can gather from it. I've always known it as the 6%.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. It's still higher than beer. You know, beer is usually coming in at 4.5, maybe 5.5, somewhere in that range. Sometimes they're lower even at like 4. Yeah. So it's high compared to that. There's no doubt.
Yeah, I was looking through here quick, and I'm like, okay, well, let's see. Has it always been at that percentage? I'm pretty sure I'm trying to look it up here. Get into that King Cobra history.
It's a rich, rich history.
Yeah.
Part of our nation's fabric, you might say.
It is. I mean, it's the backbone of America,
Yeah.
right here. To
Yeah.
really enjoy this King Cobra and seeing there, because I know they've changed the bottles and the logos over the years and switched it up, but I'm pretty sure that uh, it's always been that 6%. So
Okay.
so
Yeah,
we'll
yeah.
see. I'll see if I can dive into anything that can dispute that. But from what I think, it's always been that 6%.
Yeah, we'll go with that. And I was just curious. I mean, I don't know. The thing is, when you are drinking 40 ounces of something at 6% alcohol by volume, you're going to end up feeling it. So
That is true. That is true. That's the risk you take if you're gonna dive in here. And I was like, you know what? Screw it. Let me let's dive into that. I only have the 40 of it there, but why not? It's a holiday. It's Thanksgiving. Let's go big or go home, right?
And is the 40 ounce? Is it in a glass bottle still?
Yes.
It
A
is.
glass. Yes. Luckily,
Nice.
the if you can hear that glass there,
Yes.
the King Cobra is a Anheuser-Busch product, and they never switched to the plastic bottles. If you know, about 10 years ago, some of the 40s went from glass to plastic, and it became a big uproar in the degenerates of the malt liquor community that I frequent about it. But luckily, this past year, the glass bottles have returned. So there's no more plastic 40s. The Old Englishes of the world, Steel Reserve, they're all back in glass bottles now. So we can all rejoice and celebrate that plastic 40s are no longer out there on the streets, which I always said that the only benefit to the plastic 40 was if you were taking your last couple bucks to purchase a 40, and for some reason you stepped outside the store and you dropped it, and the thing shatters in front of you.
Yeah.
You're going to hate yourself. But with the plastic bottle, you can drop that, and it'll get a little foamy in there, but it's not gonna break the bottle.
Yeah.
And also the glass bottle is a better weapon than a plastic 40 ounce.
Yeah. When you're drinking a 40 ounce of malt liquor, sometimes you're in need of a weapon.
You never know. It depends on where you're going, where you're purchasing this. It could be a sketchy area. You never know what might happen.
Yeah. It's nice to just be able to smash it. Instant protection.
Mm-hmm. Yep, you're ready to go.
That's simple. It's that simple.
Yeah.
That's self-defense 101 right there.
It's a multi-purpose there for the couple bucks it costs you to buy this 40. It can save your life at the same time.
Cue Elton John, Somebody Saved My Life Tonight. That's a perfect little radio segue there. But
see, perfect.
Yeah, I am thoroughly enjoying this. I'm a decent amount of the way through because, as we're saying, smooth taste, no lie there. I am powering right through this thing, the big one.
Yeah, you get that quenching your thirst over there after your Thanksgiving meal.
Mm-hmm.
Now you go through, you're like, what can make this evening any better? Get me some smooth malt liquor. That will really help me in my journey.
Yeah. I might still, if I still have room in my stomach later, eat a piece of pumpkin pie. I don't know. I was going to do actually a segment on this live stream about pomegranates, Bob. I don't know if I'll get around to that or not. Yeah.
The people out there, the big pomegranate community might be upset if you don't end up talking about it before your stream ends tonight, but you still have time.
Yeah.
It's still the early evening over there where you are, so you have time until it's time to pack it in, and Thanksgiving's in the books, so you might make it.
Yeah. I'm thinking I will. I really wanted to do it. I even had like a little guitar part I was gonna plan for it, but I don't know if I'll be able to play guitar by the time if I do the King Cobra and the Four Loko, which I also have in the wings here. I think the guitar might have to stay on its stand. If you know what I mean.
Might have to save that for another day, another another event.
Yeah. I'm not a professional rocker, which they can only play if they're completely blackout drunk. I am the opposite, where I don't think I will be able to play at all. So
yeah,
that's the mere mortals. That's how we are when it comes to guitar.
not at that level yet, but you do your best. You do your best to get there and try to make that happen.
Indeed. Now, Bob, I know we were talking about your Bumming with Bobcat podcast and your website a little bit, but why don't we just spend some time? What's new over there? What new features are going on your website, on the podcast? Anything people need to know about?
So the most recent thing that we've been diving into over the past few weeks is the Joose. Have you ever had the Joose malt beverages before, similar to the Four Lokos?
What was that thing? Didn't we drink something together? I forget if it was one of those things. I know of this, but I forget what it is at this point.
So it's a malt beverage. It's pretty much the same thing as a Four Loko. It's a 14% malt beverage. They have all their different flavors for it, but it's hard to come by. Now I don't know if they have it out where you are, because the distribution is very regional with it. So I've picked them up over the years of my travels. Anytime I've gone into Pennsylvania, they have them out there.
Yes.
And earlier this year, they came out with a Jungle Juice flavor of Joose, and I picked it up in my travels, and then I sent a can over to my buddy Roadhouse, who is in Kentucky, and we did a podcast about it. And about a month or so ago, somebody from Joose reached out and said, "Hey, we really like the podcast you guys did about the Joose.
Oh wow!
I'll send you over. We have a couple new flavors. We'll send it over to you. We'll send you over some samples, and you guys can try them out on the podcast." So like, okay, cool. That's awesome. So a couple weeks ago, we got them, and the guy who's like their head of marketing and design, Adrian, joined us on the podcast as we cracked open one of their new flavors, the Beetlejuice.
Nice.
Yes, I see. Yes, what you're putting up there, the Joose.
Those are them. Okay, yeah, I'll put them back up here.
Those are like the original ones, because those were like the brief history. They were on the same level as the Four Lokos with the caffeine, taurine, all that stuff. And then they got banned, by the FDA.
Okay.
When they said you couldn't put caffeine in the alcoholic drinks anymore. So kind of at that time, Joose, they kind of lost their market share during that time frame, during the whole reformulation of it.
Okay.
So they've been kind of playing catch up to Four Loko in the meantime with it. But they're starting to expand more. So we had Adrian on the podcast, and he went through, kind of gave us some history lesson of Joose. We tried out the new flavor, the Beetlejuice, which was a grilled pineapple flavor.
Grilled pineapple.
Grilled pineapple with honey.
Okay.
So a very unique flavor, but very good. Different, but good. So we tried that out, and then he also sent over one of their new flavors, the Dragon Juice, which just the other day, Roadhouse and myself covered on the podcast, which was another solid flavor. And we're going to be diving into some more of these in the future. But that's been kind of the latest feature we've been working with over here. But we're pushing, and which kind of fits in perfectly with me with this 40 ounce of King Cobra premium malt liquor, is that we're trying to really push the Bum Wine Bob YouTube channel, as we're trying to get to the 1,000 subscriber mark on there, and we're at, as of press time, at 872 on the YouTube channel, and we said once we hit 1,000, we are going to do an Edward 40 hands.
Oh yeah.
So fitting with this 40 ounce of King Cobra, once we hit 1,000 subscribers, we are going, and it's an open challenge to anybody who wants to join in. So Aaron, if you're feeling a little frisky and a little up for it, and you want to join us for an Edward 40 hands challenge, once we hit 1,000 subscribers, you're more than welcome.
Okay, so this is going to be a special show, a broadcast that you do?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that could be awesome. Let me know when that happens, and yeah, I'd be interested. I would call in. Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay,
Call yeah. We do a live show with it.
Yeah.
Have a couple people that said they would like to join in.
Okay.
Do a live stream of everybody with their 240s, and we said, since the Edward 40 hands, is like, usually you'd get your 240s and you'd like duct tape them on your hands, so you can't move your hands until you're done with it. But we're being lenient with the rules just for legal reasons and for safety reasons.
Yeah.
That we're not requiring anybody to duct tape the 40s to their hands, as long as you have 240s in hands, and you'll be on, and we're going to have you'll be on camera. It'll be a video show, so we'll see you to make sure you're not doing any shenanigans over there of passing it over to somebody else.
Oh, I see. Oh, but so you're looking out for this kind of stuff now, Bob, right? You got to kind of like watch your own back. Is that what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So, because I was like, as much as we would love to do like the legitimate old school Edward 40 hands of duct taping, I was like, if we were all in the room together, that would be one thing.
Yeah.
But I'm like, if you're at your house, I'm at my house.
Yeah.
Somebody else is at their house. Like, we probably shouldn't do that.
Yeah, got it. Now do you ever do in-studio shows, Bob, or are you always remotely doing it like we're doing now? Is this always your format too?
Yeah. Everything is remote like this, with remote interviews and video and stuff like that here.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be great to do the things in person, but just with where we all are in the world and in the country, it just isn't feasible.
Yeah. I mean, for comedians in LA or maybe even New York, that format works. But for everybody else, it's just going to be difficult. So, even me, I'm in California, but I'm not in LA, so it'd be a little difficult for a lot. And even if I was in LA, I can only really get people who can or will be or happen to be in LA. I'm not doing this full time, so my schedule isn't wide open either.
Right.
So, it's I love the fact that we can just call up on Skype like this and do a show, and it's the way I've always done it too, and I love it.
Yeah, it works. I mean, it's great these days with the wonders of technology, that you could do this and just Skype somebody, or just put a Zoom call or whatever you're using, and you can be right there with somebody, talking to them as if you were sitting across from them in the same room having a drink. I mean, sure, it would be great to have them sitting here right with you and share things back and forth, because as we were saying, a lot of times it works out for like you and Uncle when you do the shows, because you can get like one drink and you can split it between you two to test it out. So it's like when we did the Joose, we were like, we had 2 cans, 2 different flavors. We were like, we really want to do both of them at the same time, but you drank 2 14% malt beverages, it's probably not going to end well. But if we were sitting there with each other, you could take one can and split it between the two of you, and then split the other one, and it'd be like, okay, you had one can.
Yeah.
So it goes either way with it.
Yeah, and also congratulations, by the way, on getting the marketing guy from that company. That sounds awesome, man. That's really cool. I mean, that must have been a fun just fun getting a hold of him and have him on the show, right? Was that cool or what?
Yeah. He reached out. He sent me a message on Instagram, and he's like, hey, we saw the podcast you guys did. We really liked it. It's like they're trying to spread the word about their brand and expand it back into the mainstream.
Okay.
And he's like, if we can help you out, you can help us out.
Sure.
It works out for everybody there. And he said he's gonna hook us up with some more stuff, and we'll probably do some more things together with it. So it'll be interesting to see. But yeah, it's great when you can get something like that and somebody who reaches out. And you're like you said, you're not doing this full time. It's not like a real job or anything, but it makes you feel a little bit wanted.
Yeah. And at the same time, this isn't a career. We're not making our living off of this, you or I. But that doesn't mean it's not work either. This takes effort to do. So it doesn't make itself.
Right. That's what people always say. It's like, yes, it's essentially just a hobby of doing all this stuff, but as long as you're having fun with it. And people always say, if it gets to the point where you're not having fun doing this stuff, then you shouldn't be doing it anymore. And I'm sure with you, there's some days you're like, how do I just pack it in and just just give up and just forget it. But you have your people that love listening to the show and are always like sending messages or just joining in, and you're like, okay, if these people like it, all right, I feel like I'm doing it for some reason.
Yeah exactly. Yeah, it's crazy how a community will build. It's real exciting. And I've had like some people on the stream here today that are regular listeners. They've been in the chat basically all day. I'm sure they're checking in and out as the stream is set up to do that, but they've been here all day. So yeah, it's awesome, man. It feels good to have something like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because like we had when we did the MD 2020, the Spiked earlier this year.
Yes. And
we had who was that? That was Creative Accidents.
Oh yeah,
who's the one that found it.
Yes, that's
him. And sent a bottle to the both of us to try out together on Uncle the Podcast. And when you have stuff like that, when somebody will go out and see something and say, you know what, these guys would really like this, and I would like to hear them talk about it. When stuff like that happens, you're like, oh, okay, you know what? Maybe this is worth it to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and back to the YouTube channel, because you're going for how many subscribers is it?
1,000.
1,000. And you're at what now?
872.
872. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm pulling it up on the feed here so people can see the YouTube channel. But what's the best way people can find it? What's the name of the channel? How they find the channel, Bob?
Just search Bumwine Bob on the YouTube. It's just youtube.com/BumwineBob. That will bring you right in. You can just smash that subscribe button right there. And help us on our journey. It's free. You don't even have to watch anything or do anything. Just hit that subscribe button right there.
Yeah.
And it'll just get those numbers up there to push us along to that 1,000, as we've been trying to hit all these different milestones, because we were kind of late. I mean, after doing this stuff for about 10 years, it wasn't until late last year that we were really starting to push the YouTube channel and venturing into video podcasts and live streams and stuff like that. So I kick myself for not doing that stuff sooner. Yeah. Or even just pushing the channel and putting clips out there, because it's tough it's a lot of work to do that stuff. You got to go through, do clips and shorts.
Yeah, those are a pain.
And all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then you just sit there constantly refreshing the page, seeing if anybody's actually watching it or not. I'm like, constantly. It's a blessing and a curse, because you put something out there and you're like, oh man, this is a good one. This is going to be great.
Yeah.
And then you post it and you refresh it. It's like, okay, 2 views. Oh, okay. All right. No, that didn't go as planned, but
yeah.
But who knows? It might get a second wave through, I don't know how, YouTube, the algorithms.
That's interesting. The second wave is a real thing.
It is.
I did, I have 3 podcasts, actually. I do Uncle the Podcast. I do The Age of Transitions.
Mm-hmm.
I also have a third that's a movie review podcast called Themes and Memes. I have a co-host, Adam. He lives in Germany now. He's originally from New Zealand. He's living in Germany. So the time difference between us with time zones is just horrendous. And so we have not been making episodes really in a couple years. We haven't made a new one, but we recorded one within this War on Christmas Thanksgiving Spectacular. We recorded a new one live today. And Adam was saying, like, yeah, I get people, a lot of people tell me that they listen to the old shows of Themes and Memes. So people actually, I'm surprised that they're still listening to these old movie review podcasts, but they are. It still has an audience and people are listening to it now. So that's a real thing.
Yeah, it's funny how things work, and I'll post something, and I did a fridge video a few months back, just opening up like these fridge find videos, or like these big things on Instagram and YouTube where people open up their refrigerator, and usually they go in and they pull out like some old random beer or something in the back of the fridge that they say, it's like the grandma's or grandpa's like fridge find.
Yeah.
And it's like this old beer from like the 90s that they find in the back of the
Red
fridge.
Dog.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, something like that. And I did one in my fridge, and it was just a random thing, and and there's nothing spectacular in there.
Yeah.
And I did the thing, I posted the video, and it got maybe a couple hundred views over like the first 2 weeks.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden, one day I wake up and I look at the stats, and my subscribers go up, and I look at the views, and that same video is now up to like 5,000 views.
Nice.
I say, okay, all right, cool.
Nice.
Later that day, it's up to like 10,000.
Ooh.
I'm like, okay, here we go. And a couple days later, it's still going, and it ended up getting about 50,000 views on this video. And I'm like, just random video.
Yeah, probably little effort to make, right?
Yeah, exactly. I took out my camera on my phone. I opened the fridge and I recorded, the shelves and what was in there. And like I said, over the first week or so, it just was kind of sitting there doing nothing. And then all of a sudden, within another week after that, it's up to over 50,000 views. And I think I'm looking at it, was over 50,000 views, 1,400 likes, and how many? And I got 90 subscribers. Off of.
Ooh, wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
We talking YouTube here?
Yeah, this is on YouTube.
Oh, that's good. That's real good.
Yeah, off this thing. Off this one little 27-second clip.
Yeah.
This short that I posted there, that it was like, okay, over the first day, like 16, 20, 24, okay, 500, and then next thing you know, up to 48,000. Like,
wow.
Wow, how does that happen? I don't know. I don't get it. There's stuff you put out there that you're like, to you, it's like, this is great. This is awesome.
Yes, exactly.
If I was out there, I would love this. I would love this content. This is great. And then you go through and you look, you're like, okay, there's 5 views. Why is nobody watching this? This is great. This is great content, people.
It's the old quote from Edward Bernays, the father of public relations. He said, if nobody sees it or nobody knows about it, it didn't exist.
Exactly. And that's the problem with some of this stuff, is that if it's not putting in front of people, they don't know about it. So nobody's going to watch it.
Yep. And that's really the art to this stuff. Some people are really good at knowing how to get their stuff out and get the views. And I mean, that's honestly, I think you and I both, but certainly I'll speak for myself now, it's not my forte. My forte is just making material. I love it. And even if it doesn't get huge views, I still just enjoyed making it. Do I want as many views as possible? Yes, of course I do. But I don't know. It's truly a fine art. This weird online
you
media
have
creation.
to know. Yeah, you need to know how to name things and tag it, and use the right content within it that somehow these things crawl the YouTube and like feature it or move it up the list. And like I have no idea how any of that works. It's like, okay, just make the video, upload it, name it with something that you think makes the most sense that could get people interested in it, but who knows
see
if they will.
My personal problem is I like to be devilish and purposely name things really weird names just because it's an inside joke to myself. I'm like, oh, this name is funny to me, but then nobody's finding it.
Yeah, nobody else is like, what the hell does this mean? It's like I said, it's to you.
Yeah,
you're like, oh, this is awesome, this is great, this is funny. And even to maybe like a couple of your close friends.
Yes.
Like, oh, this is awesome, this is great. But to everybody else in the world, they have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And it makes no sense to them. So that's the trade-off with it there. So and I also been posting. I've been going into some of, and I know you do a lot of this stuff, like your VHS watch party and stuff with Uncle and streaming stuff like that. And I've been going into some of my old school VHS archives. I've been ripping a lot of some old school wrestling stuff.
Oh, cool.
And some other TV related things just that I have on old VHS tapes.
Nice.
That I've been putting out there and uploading that stuff into the YouTube and stuff like that. Does get a lot of views because people love that old nostalgic stuff.
Oh yeah, it's huge.
And if nobody else has that uploaded already, then you're the king.
Yeah.
You got the content that they want, because I uploaded some clips and I had some people reach out and say, hey, do you have
they're asking for requests.
Yeah, exactly. They say, oh, do you have any of these shows from this year? And okay, I think I have something for that. Okay, I'll upload that this weekend, and I'll do stuff like that. So and stuff like that's fun to go through and just rewatch some of that stuff. And you go through, and I'm always liking the come across like those old commercials and stuff like that from the 90s when you put on some of these shows.
Yeah. Those are just fun to watch and remember themselves, the commercials. Yeah.
As soon as you see it, you're like, oh, I remember that. Like, I see that nonstop all the time.
Yep. You know what might be a good idea? I'll throw this at you, Bob. You're uploading the actual, like the old tapes, the WWF and whatever. What you might consider is playing it live and watching it and giving commentary. Maybe you and Roadhouse giving commentary over it. You're watching it together on the stream and live streaming it. That might be a good thing to add in there too. People might get a kick out of that. And then they know you, and you'd be like, the Bumming with Bobcat podcast. We're doing this now, and so it might be a good way to get people interested in the podcast too.
That's a great idea, and I think I kind of had that idea like in the back of my head.
Yeah.
Of that, but putting that out there, the stuff like that you can have people join in and watch along with it, and do those streams and stuff. So it's always interesting to see how that can turn out. Yeah.
So just, I don't know, just spitballing, brainstorming.
Hey, why not? This is what we're here for, right? I mean,
fellow creative media creators. We're here banding together.
Exactly. Get that malt liquor in your veins, and then you get spitting out those good ideas.
Indeed. I'm getting toward, I want to say I probably have a third of this can left. The thing with me on this is I feel like I am going to be full by the time I finish this, because we'll see how I feel, but I'm getting pretty full, I gotta say.
Yeah, that's a trade-off with it, and especially after eating. And I'm like, okay, what do I want to drink? Do I want to do a Four Loko? Do I want to do the King Cobra? We already had a nice big meal, had other drinks beforehand. So okay, what's gonna cap off the evening in the most easy way?
Yeah. No, I mean, don't get me wrong. It tastes great, and I enjoy being full, and today's the day for being full. So I think this is going to be what brings me there. I'm just lamenting perhaps what's I think is going to be my inability to drink the Four Loko, which I have to say I love the Four Lokos. I really do. I feel kind of ashamed that I like them as much as I do, Bob. The Four Lokos. Like, why do I like this thing this much? Because typically, when it comes to like sweet alcohols, usually I'm not in for it. But Four Loko has something about it where it's different. I don't know. What is that, Bob? How's that work?
I mean, is it the? I was gonna say, is it the percentage of the alcohol and the buzz you get from it? Maybe. I mean, that's the.
Oh, dang, I'm looking at it, and I realize it's 13.9%. I forgot it was that high. Oh, my God. Oh, boy. Wow. Is that what does it? Just the fact that it like makes you wasted on contact? Is that the idea?
I mean, and it depends on the flavor. The flavor of the Four Loko always is a real dependent on how it's going to be, because we did the right, we did the Jungle Juice together.
Jungle
right?
Juice is what we did with Uncle,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was after we had talked about it on, I think that was on last year's, holiday podcast.
Yeah, that was on the New Year's Revolution last year. We drank the Jungle Juice. Yes.
Right. Because we did our annual holiday podcast, and I brought it up to you that the Jungle Juice was out, and we were doing the video and everything, and I was sharing the pictures of it and everything, and Uncle was like, "Oh, I need this."
Yeah, I was excited.
He's like, you go out and you go searching for it, and then and then you said you came across it and you found it. And you said, "Okay, we'll crack it open on the Revolution."
Yeah,
and I think that went over real well between the both of you.
Oh yeah,
and the three of us.
Yep. Yeah, it was beloved for sure, the Jungle Juice.
Yeah.
The one I have here now is Galactic Punch.
Yeah.
The sour Galactic Punch. Yeah.
Yeah. So what they did, and I still have here it was formerly known as the Warheads Sour Cosmic Punch.
Okay.
And I just get the feeling that probably whatever marketing deal they probably had with Warheads probably ran out.
Okay.
Over the past year or so. So they've been rebranding it as this Sour Galactic Punch now. And in my area, I still get the cans of the Warheads ones are still on the shelves. But I've seen other people with those Sour Galactic Punches. So I'm pretty sure it's the same thing, though I haven't had it to try it yet. So when I do see those cans, eventually I will pick one up to give it a shot just to compare and see, okay, is it the same thing or is it not?
Wow, I'm surprised, Bob. I have a can that technically you haven't even had yet. I did not know that.
That is correct, yeah.
Wow.
Nothing yet. That Sour Galactic Punch I have not had that yet.
Goodness.
But from what I've heard and what I've seen is that it should be, if not the same thing, similar to the Warheads Sour Cosmic Punch.
Sure. Yeah, it may be the exact same formulation. You just have to find out. Do you think by tasting, would you be able to tell, Bob, if it's the same one?
I mean, I might have to do like a side-by-side comparison with it.
Yeah. Okay. That's some like taste tester, professional taste tester level palate skills there, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, if anybody, I figured you'd be able to do it. So,
I'll try my best. That's for sure.
All right. Well, I have to say, let's see here. How are you doing on your 40, by the way? Where are you at on yours?
I'm probably about a little under halfway.
Okay.
Through this thing here.
Okay. Yeah. I'm definitely getting there on the old 25-ounce big one.
The big guy there.
Yeah. I will be able to finish it. I am sure of that. I'm not there yet, but I am working on it. And I am feeling the bite of the Cobra at this point. I'll say.
Yeah, but it's got that smooth taste, though. Don't forget the smooth taste of the Cobra. So I've
been enjoying every single sip. I truly have. I mean, the only real pain comes with these is the day after sometimes if you do experience the hangover. That's the worst of it, always. It's just the way of things.
Yeah.
Count Pupper is saying stay safe, and I reiterate that. If you out there are drinking, please stay at home. Don't drive. I myself I'm not going anywhere. So I can drink, I can pass out. I'm not getting in any car. I'm not doing any sort of fine motor skills activity whatsoever. The closest thing to that might be is pressing the rewind button on the camcorder here, but I'm not going to go further than that. Okay.
Yeah. You might end up breaking something in your house, but other than that, you'll be okay. Yeah. Not operating any heavy machinery.
No.
It's all the little things today.
Mm-hmm. So everybody out there, we always say be safe. If you are drinking, do it safely. So thank you, Pupper, for reminding us of that very important message.
It must have hurt us, like all this malt liquor talk. Guys, be careful out there, okay?
Talking about breaking bottles and using it as a weapon.
Yeah. Don't fight. Don't stab anybody.
That was before we had even started drinking. We were talking like that.
Now it's like, all right, let's see. Okay, who can I get into a fight with now? All right.
Yeah, it's like the opposite, though, because we were like talking about fights at the beginning, and now we're like getting more passive as the more that we're drinking.
Mellow it out a little bit after the malt liquor hits your veins.
I think it's just maturity with our age here, Bob. We're not getting any younger. I speak for myself once again, but I'm more mature now. I'm older, more mature, and I'm proud of that fact. And life's going good. How about this, Bob? I'm going to make this like a philosophical take on life.
Okay.
Me personally, I feel fortunate in that I do legitimately, I think I can say about myself that every year that I'm here, I'm around, every year that I live, I feel like is even better than the last. No matter what the circumstances, I do feel better. I feel like life is better. I feel better about myself. I feel I have grown. I am more mature. Do you feel the same way? Do you feel that way? I hope the answer is yes.
I would say so. Yeah. I would say every year you can kind of look back on it. Now that we're hitting towards the end of 2024 and we're moving into a new year. I mean, I think you always try to be that way and feel that way and have that sense of the accomplishment of knowing that you're going out of the year better than you came into it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I don't want to put words into your mouth. If you don't feel that way, just let me know.
No. You're good. You're good.
Yeah. I don't want to like form an opinion for you and then.
Yeah, I know we're getting to this philosophical, malt liquor, really dive it in there. Next thing we're gonna be laying on the couch, getting the shrink over here, getting into.
Yeah, tell me about your childhood.
Yeah, why are you drinking all this stuff? Okay, well it all started,
Oh gosh. Yeah, I'm just having fun on a holiday here, and this is an unusual circumstance, so I'm making the most of it. I'm making it an all-day stream where, honestly, Bob, I don't usually have the opportunity to just press play and go all day with the stream, but I did, so I'm seizing the day, carpe diem. I feel good about that.
You have your chance to do something unique with it, and hopefully the people tuning in or coming across it just randomly in their travels, they'll be like, hey, I like this guy, okay. Yeah. And then once they find out about Uncle, then they'll be like, oh man, now we're really going all in here.
Cooking with bacon grease.
Yeah. Now we're big time over here, with the whole thing.
I will say that as we speak, certainly Uncle's not here, but he is living it up. I will tell you that he is having a nice little vacation of his own. So he's living his best life, as they say. There's no doubt about that. So Uncle's doing good right now, I will say.
Hey, good for him. Good for him to get away for a bit and vacation and take a step away from the celebrity that's being Uncle from Uncle the podcast.
It's a burden. It's a burden.
Yeah, I know. I'm sure he can't walk down the street out there without people swarming him and saying, "Hey, Uncle, how's it going?" And he's like, "Oh, wait, who are you?" Yeah. Like, oh yeah, I'm a big fan of the podcast. You know, I watch you guys every week. I subscribe. I see the YouTube channel. I see the videos.
Yes, it's the life of a celebrity. It's not easy. Not easy. But
hey, you can't have the number one uncle related podcast out there and not be well known like that. So
very true, very true. The number one uncle themed podcast online today, and probably tomorrow too. We'll see.
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to maintain. That's the goal.
Yeah, it's like, I was gonna say, because how many years running now are you guys?
Ooh, man, it has been a minute. We were living in Orange. I want to say we've been doing it since 2015 or 2016, the Uncle Show. It was one of those years when we started doing it. I'd have to look back to be sure, but that's off the top of my head. That's what it is. Yeah, about 2015 probably, yeah. So it's coming on the 10-year mark probably.
Yeah, I was going to say, and how many episodes you guys up to?
Ooh, let me see. Let's go to unclethepodcast.com and see. It's 300-something.
Yeah, I know we've been very close with our numbers going back and forth of who's
yeah,
who's
it's always
ahead.
a competition.
Yeah, because of either me taking weeks off or you guys taking weeks off. So we've been kind of back and forth over the past couple years of saying, okay, who's in the lead? Who's in the lead now?
It's 351. That was the last episode of the Uncle Show.
Okay.
Where are you at, Bob? Do you know?
I think it's like 330 something. Let me see. I will.
Yeah. So Uncle.
Let's pull up the numbers.
Yeah. We got to. This is very important.
We got to get to the analytics here. So
Uncle's not even here, and we're doing this.
Yeah, we're in here, so we'll have all the data ready for him here because I'm sure he's going to sit there and watch this whole thing back, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
One day he'll sit there and binge watch the whole thing.
Yeah,
just in one day, I'm sure.
Right, exactly. You have a whole day to do nothing. You're just sitting at home. All you have to do is just put it on the big screen there. Pull up the YouTube app on your TV.
Yeah,
and you can just sit there in his lazy boy, his chair, and just.
He is retired, and I will remind everybody: you can pull this up at any time you want. It will be on the Uncle YouTube in perpetuity. So if you feel like ever watching it again, it's there. Pupper is saying in the chat, I think the Uncle Show started in late 2016. Okay, that sounds right. Late 2016. Okay, so it's been a while. It's been a while.
Okay. Yeah. So it all works out.
Yeah. Thank you, Pupper.
Somebody's out there keeping you honest.
Yeah, I know. I need that.
Hey,
I probably won't.
That's the dedicated followers over there that. You got those. We always say we have like those P1, those day one listeners.
Yes.
And like you have your core group of followers that no matter what you put out there, they're always the ones out there liking it or sharing it or interacting with it. And it might be as like we have it might be a small group, but they're there.
Oh yeah. And they don't go anywhere, as we're saying. They are always there. It's the best part.
Dedicated.
Yeah, very exciting. Yeah, so let's see here. I'm checking, myself, on the numbers. I'm checking to see the different channels. I'm going on 5 different streaming platforms all at once, and I can see the numbers. I have to say, do you do live streaming, first of all, Bob?
Yes, on occasion, yeah, not every week, or anything like that, but every once in a while. We were kind of doing trying to do like a monthly live stream, certain days of the week, stuff like that. So we're kind of gonna get back into doing more of that. It's been probably a few months, I think, since the last live stream we did. But that's definitely going to be back on the list of things to do.
Is it exclusively YouTube that you're streaming to?
As of right now, yes.
Okay.
Yes. We did some to the Twitter X.
Yes.
as well. But then I think they had changed their requirements.
Yes, you have to subscribe to premium
Correct.
to be able to do it now, which I have. I'm not really proud of saying that, but I will also say that the most viewers that I have right now by a long shot are on Twitter X in terms of numbers that I have coming throughout the day.
We were doing it to that before they made that change, and it was great because we were getting a good following of people watching on there. And then one day I went to stream to it, and I was like, "Oh no, you need a premium account."
Yep.
Okay, well, screw you guys then.
I had that same.
I get it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that double-edged sword too with everything, with like people like, "Oh, why do you pay for premium, or why do you do this or that?" And it's like, I mean, hey, if it helps you, I mean, hey, go for it. I have no issue with it there.
Yeah.
So, yes, I just checked out. I'm up to 339.
339. Okay, so we are close still. 351, 339. Very close.
All right, so it just takes you guys taking a few more weeks off and then me creeping back up there.
Yep.
Like I said, a year or two ago, we were neck and neck. We were within like a few episodes of each other. Then I took some weeks off, and then I kind of creeped back up, and then you guys took some off. Then I took a couple of weeks off. So
in wrestling parlance, that's called a seesaw matchup.
Yeah, exactly. We're going back and forth
That's
over
what they
here.
call that.
Everything. Who's going to take control?
Yeah. That's funny.
Back to the live stream thing. We will when the time comes for that Edward 40 hands.
Yes.
That subscribers. We will do that as a live stream for sure.
Okay. Well, let me know. Send me an email, and if I'm able to do it, if I have the time free when you do it, I will be there. I can promise you that. Okay, so I would love to be there, Bob, and I will bring Uncle too if he's able to. Well,
there you go.
Yeah, I will bring Uncle. He might have to be modified because 240 strapped to him. I'm gonna have to do some sort of handicap sort of thing going on, where he doesn't have 240s, but
he does not. He can be there and drink whatever he wants. It doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to say like if you're on here you have to do it. No, if you want to take part in it, feel free. There's no pressure. Like we always say, it's a judgment-free zone on the podcast when we drink whatever it is out there. So if he wants to just monitor you, he can be like your referee.
Oh yeah,
your side.
He can tell me everything I'm doing wrong, which I'm not going to be able to keep track of. But I know that he can do that. So
exactly. Exactly.
That's an important service he could provide to me. So I mean,
sound.
There we go. I think we've got that worked all out. Like I said, contact me if I can do it. I will do it. I promise that.
Yeah, as of right now, we don't know because we haven't hit the number yet. If people subscribe sooner rather than later, then we can do it. As soon as we can. But until that day comes.
Yeah. Well, that's it's going out to the listeners. Then, Bob, you better subscribe to at Bumwine Bob on YouTube. I have the image up of the channel right there to help you out at Bumwine Bob. Go there, press the button, as they say, so you subscribe. You can see the button on this graphic. It's huge. It's very wide. They make I feel like they made the button larger than it used to be, Bob. That's
hey, that's what it takes. If people want to, it's right there. Just hit the button. Just go along. You'll be good to go.
You cannot miss it. Press.
You can't miss it. Put it right there, front and center. It's free. If you like the bottom shelf and the best, the worst, and cheap booze. We have you covered,
Indeed.
You want more King Cobra, more malt liquor? We have that for you there.
Yeah. Now, Bob, back to the task at hand, the King Cobra. Should we rate this drink? Do we? Are we gonna want to? And I can't remember. Do you always do a rating when you do your show, or do you just sometimes do a rating? How does that work with you on your end?
I don't always do a rating.
Yeah.
A lot of times it depends on if we have anybody joining us on the show, if we actually do a rating, if it's a 1 to 10 or a 1 to 5. Usually it's either is it drinkable or is it not drinkable. Yeah. That's kind of where we go. And 9 times out of 10, we always say it's drinkable
Yeah.
because and Roadhouse and myself were just talking about this on the last episode. We're like, our palates are probably so different than the average person, and you're probably on the same level as us too with
Yeah.
having drank this stuff before
Yeah.
and knowing about it. So like for us, this is gonna rank a lot higher
Yeah.
than some other random person. If you had family over for Thanksgiving and you might have had like a cousin or something that's like, hey, do you have a beer? And then you'd go into the fridge and hand them a King Cobra. They would look at it and be like, what the hell is this? And probably take a sip and probably more than likely not be like, oh, I hate this. But I don't know. But the King Cobra, maybe not, because this is a pretty solid basic drink.
Yeah.
It doesn't taste too much different than a regular beer. Like we were saying, if you gave them like one of those eight, like a St. Ides or a Hurricane, like the higher ABV ones
Those are
that
tough.
have that taste to them,
Mhm.
those are the ones that they'll have that first sip and do that recoil and be like, oh man.
Yes, exactly. It's a whole different ball game with them for sure. This is an easy to drink beverage, no doubt about it.
Yeah, but I mean, if you want to do a rank, we can do a ranking on this one. I'm fine with that. I kind of have a number in mind.
Yeah. Yeah, I
that
think I do.
we
I think
could-
I do too. I have a solid number that I'm going to give it. So yeah, I'm going to say, in the spirit of Uncle, even though this is not Uncle the podcast, this is the War on Christmas Thanksgiving Spectacular. In the spirit of Uncle, I feel obligated to give a rating. Obligated. It's like I don't have a choice. I feel like he's on my shoulder going, "You have to rate it now. You have to rate it now." You know what I mean? So I better do it. So I will. So let's go ahead and give this a rating on the scale of course, 1 to 10, Bob. Since you are the guest of the show, I'm gonna have you give your rating of King Cobra, and then I will do it afterwards.
All right, so the number that popped into my head, and it might be a little bit low for some people, but I was gonna say a 7.5
Okay.
was where I was going with this one, and it was just the first number that popped into my head, and for the malt liquor enthusiast, they might be like, "Oh, that's a little bit low," but I think it's a respectable number for it.
Yes, I feel it. Yeah, I get exactly where you're coming from. I like that. 7.5. It's the official number from Bumwine Bob.
Yeah,
King
take
Cobra.
it to the bank. Yeah.
Yes. Put that in the record books for all time. We need a record of that. I am going to rate King Cobra premium malt liquor an 8 out of 10 because that's what popped into my head. And yeah, it's certainly not the best drink I've ever had. It just isn't. I mean, but at the same time, I come into this thinking it's going to be, you look at this thing, you think it's going to be trash. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah.
You have zero expectations when you pick this thing up out of the cooler at the carryout. It's like, yeah, I'm buying a King Cobra. I want to get drunk, and let's just see what happens. That's the experience. But when you taste it, it exceeds those expectations, which isn't much. But I give it a solid 8 out of 10. It has good taste somehow. Somehow they do it.
That's respectable. That's a good. We're right next to each other. We're right.
Mm-hmm.
We're right there. And like you said, you go into it with the low expectations of it, and you look at this can or bottle, and you're like, okay, premium malt liquor. You're like, okay, that's BS. Like what's the premium malt liquor? I don't know.
What even is there such a thing?
Yeah, smooth taste. Oh yeah, sure, guys. Okay, 6% alcohol by volume. Okay, all right, it'll get you a good buzz there. It's a step up above beer, but it's not too crazy. And you're like, all right, okay, you know what? I'll pick it up. Then you take that first sip, and you're like, okay, you know what? this isn't bad. This is not any worse than any random beer you could pick up out there.
Yeah.
And that's really the whole thing with it.
Yes. It's basically like a pretty good beer is what it is. Again, exceeding expectations. I think that aspect of the exceeding of expectations is what probably bumps it up higher than maybe it would have been.
Yeah, I can see that, because you're going into it knowing, I mean, what? How much did you pay for that can? It couldn't be more than $2, right?
Yeah, I forget, but yeah, somewhere along there. It was from the fancy carryout that I tend to go to when I do these shows with you, and it has the carryout's so good. It has like every imported beer you can imagine, and then I'm here buying King Cobra and Four Loko there. Yeah. So, I mean, I know that they're gonna have that too, so it's cool.
Yeah, that's like you go into some of these stores and you look around, and that's why I always go to the cooler. And one of the other videos I do on the YouTube channel is what I call the LSD with BWB, which is the liquor store discoveries with Bumwine Bob. And going into the cooler and searching it and looking at the shelves and saying, okay, what do they have in the stores? And some stores you go to, and a lot of it is that, the bottom shelf cheap beers. But then there are some stores you go to, and it is more of like that higher class drinks.
Yeah.
And one of my buddies that was on the podcast and I did his show was my friend Tony of the Dude Network, and he did a video the other day. He was going through and he was searching, looking for some beers, and then he was doing some like whiskey tasting. And I said, where's the shot of the 40-ounce selection? And he said, oh, you have to go to the other store around the corner to get that. They didn't have that here. And I'm like, okay, kudos. Yeah, fair enough. There's some stores that can accommodate you, and some stores that, when you walk into a liquor store or wherever you're going to buy your booze, if you're going to find the bottom shelf stuff you're looking for, if you go into a store and it's bright lights, they got nice shelves, you're not going to find the King Cobra sitting there.
Yeah.
But you go into those stores where it either has that dirty old carpet or the floor tiles that are missing, the ceiling tiles are missing, or there's buckets catching the drips of the water from the ceiling.
Yeah.
That's when you know you're going to get the good stuff.
Oh, man. There is like this specific carryout in Columbus that I bought more King Cobras than anywhere else from. It was on 4th Street. It was the one that we would always stock up on this or whatever the drink of the night would be for the videos I've been playing tonight. I'm trying for the life of me, like the name of the place is on the tip of my tongue. I cannot recall it. It's like it's absolutely what you're describing. It's one of those places. And then the guy that was like the stalker guy, there was the shop owner was up front running the register always. That was the same guy. He was cool for one thing. And then there was the guy who was like the stalker in the back that was always there too. And he was a character and a half. And we would always like BS with him. Like, oh, hey man, I can't remember their names, but man, we would always like, oh, what have you been up to? Like, oh yeah, just hanging out here. Like,
that's it. That's exactly. That's kind of like the spot that I got this 40 of King Cobra. Was a spot that I had hit up about a year or so ago, and it's in a spot that it's not a bad area, but it's like on the outskirts of a sketchy area.
Yes.
So it's not like terrible, because I've been in some spots where you're afraid you're going to get shot if you go into some of these stores when they have the guy behind the registers behind like bulletproof glass and stuff like that.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I go into this store because I knew in the past that they had some good 40s. And there was one lone bottle of Thunderbird wine last year that I picked up. And I'm like, there's no way they have any more. So I went in anyway. I looked, and it's it's the store that has the crappy old dirty bowling alley carpet there.
Yeah.
And so I go in and I go to the cooler, and they got the 40s, they got the King Cobra, they got St. Ides 40s, and I go in. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna pick up some 40s. They had some Four Locos, some Steel Reserve, and I'm looking for a box to put the stuff in because I'm like, I can't carry all this stuff in my arms without potentially dropping it. And as we said before, the tragedy of if I'm dropping these glass 40s on the ground. So I'm looking and I'm looking for a big box to put it in, and I'm kind of on the side by the cooler, and the guy working there like flings the door open and slams it right into my back as I'm standing there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh shit! And he looks at me. He's like, oh buddy, I'm sorry. I'm like, dude, why are you opening the door like with such force? this store. I'm like, I'm just trying to find a box to put some 40s in. He's like, okay, I'll go get you one. You okay? I'm like, yeah, my back hurts, but I'm okay. And he goes and he gets me a box. I throw some 40s and some Four Locos in it there. And he's like, you okay? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, next time, just be careful. He's like coming out of the cooler, like flinging this door open, and I'm like, okay, yes, I'm over to the side where like the empty boxes are, so it's really not a customer area that you should be in, but it's right next. It's like right on the outskirts of where the cooler ends. There's the door, and then there's like a pile of random boxes that people can use to put stuff in. But he just kind of like doesn't care, flings the door open. I'm like, man, thanks a lot for screwing up my back.
That's how it goes in those joints. And I while you were describing that story, Bob, I was actually feverishly looking on Google Maps, Columbus, Ohio. I was like, I know exactly where this thing is. I need to know the name of it. And now I have it. I could not recall it, but here it is. It's right next to the Susie Q Pool Hall, which is an interesting joint in and of itself, right off 4th Street.
Sounds like it, yeah.
Yeah, you know that's a fun place. But just around the corner of the same shopping complex is, and before I give the name, I note on the Google Maps it says there's a Byte Federal Bitcoin ATM at this location.
Oh, great.
So that's interesting. But the market is called Soussy Market. Soussy,
okay.
Yeah, so it's SOUSSY Market, Columbus, Ohio. Shout out to Soussy. I can't remember the guy who the owner was, but he was cool, and the dude who was the stalker, he was awesome. I forget their names, but man, good memories going into Soussy Market. Many of a King Cobra was bought by myself in there, I can tell you.
Yeah, those are the good ones. Those are those places that you could go in, you could get that bottom shelf stuff that you're like, oh man, this is perfect. This works out great. And then one of the stores I went to recently, it used to be one of those like really dirty floor tile missing stores where I used to, about 10 years ago, I would get MD 2020 and Cisco they had there. And then maybe about 6 or so years ago, I guess somebody bought it and they renovated the place. And all that stuff was gone. And I'm in there about a month ago, and I'm at the cooler and I'm looking around, and then out of the corner of my eye, I look over and I see on the bottom shelf there's a whole row of MD 2020. And within that row was a bottle of the MD 2020 Spiked that we did. And I talked to the guy at the register, and I'm like, have you always had those MD 2020s? He's like, yeah. I'm like, because I've never seen I don't go there too often, but I'm like, I've never seen those there. So I don't know if they moved them and put them down there. And then I said, oh, when did you get that Spiked in? And he said, oh, last week. So
new arrival.
So that MD 2020 Spiked might be hitting more markets now. out there. I mean, we did that earlier this year with us when we did it on the podcast here.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you get out there. We always say, get out, get searching. You never know what you're gonna find in your travels out there.
Indeed. All right. And with that, Bob, I know I've kept you a long time, man. I know it's late there. It's, what, 10:43 by your
Yeah,
call?
yeah. I got this little tiny bit left here. I'm going to finish off this 40 ounce.
Yeah. I just finished my tall can. Man, you're finishing your 40. Wow.
Yeah, man.
That's good.
It's no joke. I got to get ready for this Edward 40 can stuff.
yeah, you're training right now.
That's only one. I got to get through two of them.
Oof, yeah.
In like an hour and a half, maybe.
It's time. Because that's how long you have to do the podcast. Is that it?
No, there's no time limit on it, but you know,
yeah.
You get to this point now when you drink that 40, and you're like, all right, I got to go pee. Like,
yeah. You're right.
But hey, Aaron, I appreciate you inviting me on here to hang out and this Thanksgiving spectacular, the War on Christmas. A lot of fun.
Yeah.
Always happy to hang out with you and have some drinks.
Yeah, it's great, man. Yeah. You're a true friend, man. You're a friend and fellow creator in the podcast space. It's been great always just talking to you, man. And we'll talk to you soon. The revolution is right around the corner.
Yeah, the revolution. We got to work. We'll chat about finding
Christmas,
a holiday drink to enjoy.
Yeah.
I know it's coming up close. We're less than a month away from Christmas now, and just about a month. I mean, pretty much. I mean, a month away from the revolution too.
Yeah. So we've got 2 shows to do by the end of the year. Still,
I know.
after this one.
All right, we gotta get working here. We gotta get.
We're busy.
We gotta get the team together to flesh out those ideas here. So.
Yeah. It's always great. And then everybody, be sure to press the button at Bumwine Bob on YouTube.
Yeah, smash that subscribe button.
The sooner you do that, the sooner that we have that special Edward 40 Hands show. So we're gonna need that.
And if Aaron will join in there, then all you guys here hanging out with him, we'll bring him along to the Bumwine Bob YouTube channel and keep spreading the word.
Absolutely. All right, sir. It's been great to have you.
Definitely.
We will talk to you soon, man.
All right, sounds good, Aaron. I appreciate it, man. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there. Happy Hammsgiving. Happy have yourself a King Cobra Thanksgiving. Pick your poison. Whatever you drink, enjoy it. But hey, Aaron, I appreciate it again, man. We'll chat soon.
Take it easy, Bob. Good night, man.
All right, cheers.
All right, there he goes. Bumwine Bob, the man himself. I am going to put on some music, I think, here real quick. What we got? 10 gauge? Oh, well, 10 gauge. It just popped up. So I will be right back.
You ain't got no life, you ain't got no life, you're just a real lame